So good evening, everyone. Thank you. Oh, that's so nice to have a little back and forth there. Welcome to our 2022 Community Night. My name is Kirsty Creighton, and I am the Manager of Program Development for the Alzheimer Society of Nova Scotia, and I will be your host for this evening. One of the many things the past few years have taught us is how to use technology. And so, for the first time ever, we are both here in this room in person and also virtually out there, waving to the camera. We are so happy we can share community night with people both right here and also all around the province. So welcome to everybody tonight. So we are gathered today on sacred land that has been the site of human activity since time immemorial. We are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq Nation, the past, present, and future caretakers of this land. I want to also acknowledge and offer gratitude to African Nova Scotians and their ancestors whose histories, legacies, and contributions in 50 communities for over 400 years have enhanced the part of Mi'kma'ki colonially referred to as Nova Scotia. Today, as both Indigenous and non-Indigenous peoples, we commit to the responsibilities of seeking harmonious and mutually beneficial relations in keeping with the relationship outlined for us 7 generations ago by our ancestors in the peace and friendship treaties. We are all treaty people. So our theme for community night is navigating dementia, engaging with your community. I'm going to move this. There you go. At this point, right now, we think we have over 240 people registered for this event. 110 in here, close to that, and somewhere close to 132 people joining from across the province. So that's a big group of people. With the release of the landmark study, we know that staying active physically, cognitively, and socially is an important way to live well with dementia and to reduce the risk. Engaging with your community is a wonderful way to stay active. We know that this journey is hard for people with dementia and for their families, and has been particularly hard over the past couple of years. There is still stigma associated with the diagnosis, and people can shy away from talking about dementia or getting out in their communities, and this only adds to the isolation that people feel. We hope, that knowing that there are so many of us here tonight, both in this room and virtually, coming together to learn and to hear about resources, lets you all know that you're not alone. And I hope everyone has that feeling of support this evening. So the last few years have brought much change for us at the Alzheimer Society. We have grown and transformed with the times. Linda Bird, known probably to many of you, retired after 18 years of service. And we have welcomed Sasha Nadeau as our new Director of Programs and Services. Sasha is an Acadian East Coaster originally from New Brunswick. Elle fait partie d'un nombre croissant d'employés du Société Alzheimer qui parlent français, so a growing number of French-speaking staff members at the Alzheimer's Society. She holds a master's in family studies and gerontology with certifications in scientist knowledge translations and patient-oriented research. Having worked at the Nova Scotia Centre on Aging and Dalhousie Family Medicine, Sasha has over 10 years of experience in dementia research, focusing largely on quality of life in long-term care. Prior to joining ASNS 3 years ago, Sasha worked with Dr. Ken Rockwood as the Manager of Knowledge Translation for a National Dementia Research Hub. Sasha is passionate about moving ideas and motivating change in the dementia sector. Welcome, Sasha.
Thank you, Kirsty. And thanks to all of you for joining us this evening. It is so heartwarming to see tonight's turnout and to be back in person and back in community. And that's true for all of you in the room and those of you online joining us tonight. This is very much a year of reconnecting. If anything, the pandemic has made us realize the value of social contact. We are social creatures, after all. That said, maintaining, building social connections is extra important when living with dementia or supporting someone who is. So tonight, we hope to do some reconnecting. We'd like to facilitate those connections, whether it's new contacts you make, new information or resources, or even new ways of thinking. Our new community night title was historically Family Night. We're hoping it's more inclusive, beyond family and friends, to show that dementia has a ripple effect on the whole community. We all have a role to play, now more than ever, as numbers increase in Nova Scotia. I'd like to say hats off to our co-leads of this event, Kara and Beth, and their committee for such a thoughtful program, as well as our program speakers tonight for sharing their expertise. And special thanks to each of you for joining us, taking the time to learn a bit more about what we do and ways to engage in your community. I look forward to connecting with each of you after the panel, and I hope you'll stay in touch with us in one way or another, whether it's our e-newsletter, coming to an education session just like this one, and please don't hesitate to call our info line to speak to one of our kind and knowledgeable staff members. So to dive in, tonight, we will learn about our commitment to Dementia-Friendly Communities initiative here in Nova Scotia. We will hear from a psychologist about the importance of engaging with your community. And 2 community partners will talk about their programs. We will also hear from Anne, who will share her experiences and the benefits of engaging in her community. So with that, I will introduce our first speaker, Beth. Beth House has a Bachelor of Recreation and is the Dementia-Friendly Communities team lead for the Alzheimer Society of Nova Scotia. With a therapeutic recreation background specializing in geriatric populations, Beth spent 20 years working in long-term care, enhancing quality of life of the residents she served. When Beth is not working, she's busy in her garden or with her husband, 2 kids, and dog Rory. Take it away, Beth. Enjoy.
All right, thank you very much, Sasha. So, here we go. So, Dementia Friendly Canada. So the project is a partnership to foster the creation of dementia-friendly communities across the country. It was funded by the Public Health Agency of Canada, the Dementia Community Investment Fund, and it's a 4-year initiative. It is coming to an end this spring, but they have applied for another 2-year extension, so they're pretty sure that they will get that. The project is a partnership between 4 Canadian societies intended to foster the creation of dementia-friendly communities across the country. We're not officially part of the 4 initial provinces, but we are benefiting from the materials that they've created, and we are making some of our own as well. So the Dementia Friendly Canada project provides educational opportunities for the general public, professionals working in the community, to mobilize them to champion dementia-friendly principles wherever they go. So the goals of Dementia Friendly Canada is to train Canada's workforce to be dementia-friendly, to promote and educate the general public about dementia through awareness campaigns and resources, to achieve sustainability and to ensure growth of the Dementia Friendly Canada initiative across the country. And for us, it'll be here across the province. This isn't just a one and done. This is a way of the future and how we plan to change things. And these goals are guided by the hope that all Canadians living with dementia feel empowered and valued, that organizations, businesses, governments across the country become more inclusive and accessible to people living with dementia and their care partners. As individuals and as a society, we challenge the stigma and ensure people can live well with dementia. So we have a short little video that I'm going to share, and then we'll get on with the best part of our evening. So do I press play or do they? Okay. Oh.
Did you know that more than 500,000 Canadians, like me, live with dementia? Or that 1 in 5 Canadians care for someone who lives with dementia? Like me, many people living with dementia still live in our communities after we are diagnosed. It isn't always easy, though. Often we feel left out and worried about how we'll be treated by others. Sometimes people just don't understand what dementia is and how it affects the brain, or know what to do if we forget something or get confused. So they seem frustrated or dismissive, and sometimes the places we'd like to go are just more difficult to get around. I once got lost trying to find the washrooms in a restaurant because of the loud music, poor lighting, and confusing signs. But it doesn't have to be like this. Everyone in the community can play a part in helping people living with dementia feel welcome and in creating accessible and inclusive spaces for everybody to enjoy. When our communities are dementia friendly, people living with dementia feel less worried about how we will be treated and more confident about going out. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to live with dementia in your community or workplace? Is your community supportive, inclusive, and accessible for people living with dementia? Is it dementia-friendly in ways that let people stay engaged in community life? Would you recognize the signs that someone may be living with dementia and be able to offer the right type of support? Would you be comfortable talking to someone if you knew they were living with dementia? Would you know how to respond if someone seemed confused or had trouble expressing themselves? Are the businesses, organizations, and public spaces in your community designed so people can use them independently without getting disoriented, lost, or experiencing stigma because they are living with dementia? People living with dementia shouldn't have to work harder than everyone else to stay a part of the community. Wouldn't it be great if the neighborhoods and communities that we all share were dementia friendly? Together with the Alzheimer Society and community members like you, let's keep challenging the stereotypes and building a dementia-friendly Canada where everyone feels welcomed and supported. Take the first step and visit alzheimer.ca/dementia-friendly-Canada to learn more about Dementia-Friendly Canada. You'll find lots of information, education, and resources to help you and your organization become more dementia-friendly members of your community.
So that's just one of the tools that the Dementia Friendly Canada project has created. And the definition of a dementia-friendly community is, dementia-friendly communities support, respect, and include people living with dementia and their care partners in places they live, work, and play. It's a community that enables contribution, opportunities, and choice. So that was a very brief introduction to Dementia Friendly Canada and Dementia Friendly Communities. We'll get on with the best part of our event tonight, the 3 speakers that we have here, and we also have one virtually. And I'm going to hand it over to Kirsty to introduce our speakers, and I'll be back a little later at the end.
Thank you very much, Beth, for laying the groundwork for our understanding of dementia-friendly communities, and we look forward to hearing more after our speakers. So thank you very much for that. So our first speaker this evening is Jennifer Haley. Jennifer is a registered psychologist within Seniors Health Geriatric Medicine at Nova Scotia Health. She works with individuals with dementia and their care partners. She also works in long-term care with Veterans Services at Camp Hill. For the past 7 years, she has collaborated with the Alzheimer Society to develop and deliver programs to persons with early-stage dementia. Come on up.
Thanks, Kirsty. Okay, I'm told to mind the green button. There we go. So thanks everyone for the welcome. I want to say a bit about community before I talk about why it's good, and tell you what I mean or what I'm thinking of when I talk about the term community. So when you ask people about their community, they think, sure. Okay. Oops. How's that? Okay. So, I want to say a bit about community and what I mean by the term before I talk about why it's good for you. When you ask people about their community, they think of different things, often a wide range of things. You may be a part of more than one community, so it's really very individual. The fact is that every person defines their own community and what that means to them. It may be a geographic location. It may be a group of people with common interests, values, beliefs. Since 2020, we are now more comfortable with virtual versions of community. So that adds another dimension. We know that there are many benefits to being part of a community, that we are better off when we engage with others in our community and when we are active within it. And these benefits are both physical and emotional. You'll find many opportunities for maintaining physical well-being in your community. Your cardiovascular health will benefit. In addition to finding ways to stay active, you look to your community for support and connection along the way. You might find a sense of purpose, empowerment, social connection, meaningful friendships, a sense of belonging. All of this will improve your mood and be good for your overall mental health. No one is an island. We are hardwired to be part of a community. And this became very obvious during the pandemic. It showed us the negative effects of being cut off from our communities. Before I talk about community in the context of dementia, I'll first define what dementia is in case it's new to anyone here. So dementia is a decline in thinking and memory skills that significantly affects an individual's ability to function independently, caused by a variety of neurodegenerative and vascular conditions associated with aging, including Alzheimer's disease, small vessel disease, frontotemporal lobar degeneration, and Lewy body disease, to name a few. So we know that when you have dementia, especially when you first learn this, and much of this applies to care partners as well, there's a real tendency to pull inward. And there are good reasons for this. Sometimes it's a normal part of your adjustment to a new diagnosis. You may need time to process what it means for you and to experience the emotions that go along with that process. At times, you may wish to avoid reminders of life before your diagnosis. And unfortunately, there is still a lot of stigma and myths about dementia that can create conditions for isolation, both what you bring yourself and what you may hear from others, as we've heard earlier tonight. And finally, your changing abilities may make it harder to interact outside your inner circle. It may feel more effortful to participate in the activities that you used to do. As we've heard, dementia-friendly communities are still a work in progress. But despite this, so why bother? Why work so hard? It might feel like you're the one with the diagnosis, but you're the one that has to overcome to stay connected. So why bother doing that? Your community plays an important role in you maintaining a high quality of life. Looking after your health and well-being will better equip you for the future. You have a future. Not only the mental and physical health benefits of community will be good for you, but also when we're part of a community, it in turn becomes a part of who we are. And staying connected to our community can remind us of who we are when things seem uncertain. When change is on the horizon, looking for ways to feel unchanged will remind you and those around you that who you are will endure, no matter how your abilities change at any point on your journey with dementia. You have valuable perspectives and skills to offer. You'll have a sense of autonomy. You'll find time and attention away from your diagnosis. Sometimes you need opportunities not to think about dementia. For care partners, staying connected to the people who are important to you broadens your network of support. Helping your family member or friend stay connected to their communities can create routine, provide meaningful outlet for skills and interests. This may provide opportunity for respite and again, helping to promote autonomy for the person with dementia. I often hear from patients they want to contribute. They don't always want to be on the receiving end. So when you're a part of your community, you give that to that community. And all of this will decrease your overall sense of burden. And by the way, to care partners, your own quality of life matters. I talk about self-care with care partners in my practice all day long. Evidence of the vital role that community can play could be found in how much more I had to talk about it over the last 2.5 years, when people were struggling to connect in safe ways to their communities. So how do you go about staying engaged? Know that you will adapt to your new circumstances. We are all wired to change. You may need time, a bit of creativity, a bit of experimentation, and openness. If your circumstances change, you may find that what you need in a new community that can relate to what you're going through. The fact that you're joining us tonight might be a start. In my clinical work with people with dementia, people often find themselves cut off because of their circumstances. I try to help individuals stay connected to what's important to them, to their communities, by making changes or finding a new community that they maybe hadn't considered before. One thing is common to all of these patients or people I work with. Once they find that community, once they feel a part of something again, our work together is usually finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Jen. I was writing down little notes of things that were jumping out at me, and there were a lot of them, but I think the biggest why community connections as a way of maintaining important aspects of who we are, and support when we need it were two things that really struck me, so thank you very much for that. Our next speaker is Sarah Cluett. Sarah is the manager of the Northwood Adult Day programs for the Halifax Regional Municipality. Her goal here is to support both clients and care partners attending the Adult Day program. Sarah worked as a recreation therapist for 8 years at Northwood and just recently moved over to the Adult Day program. Sarah has a passion for dementia and providing quality service. Outside of business hours, you can find Sarah trying to tire out a very busy 4-year-old boy called Ethan. So Sarah's obviously a mom too. Come on up.
Thank you very much. Can everyone hear me? Yeah? In the back? Hopefully in the virtual world, they're turning up the volume if they can't. Yeah, thank you for inviting me tonight. So I have this is gonna move our slides. There we go. So yes, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm very excited to be here and share a little bit of information about our adult day programs that are in the HRM area. We are so happy to be reopened and have all of our programs open after being closed for almost 2 years during the pandemic. So very excited about that. So hopefully tonight, what I want to provide everyone with is some information about where to find us, how to get started with our program, what a day might look like in Adult Day, even though never are they the same day. And then I just want to share at the very end some words from one of our care partners. So let's get started. Let's get started with the easy one. Where can you find us? That's just addresses, right? So we have 4 locations. We have one at our Halifax campus. So that is in the downtown area, North End area on Godigan Street. It is attached to our long-term care facility there. We have one in Bedford in the Hammonds Plains area. And that again is attached to our long-term care, one of our long-term care campuses. We have one in Sackville, and Sackville actually opened for about 2 months and then closed in March of 2020. So we're actually reopening for the second time, but I feel like this is our real big reopening this time. And it's actually located right in the Sackville Sports Stadium, so a true community program there. And then we have one in the Dartmouth area. It's in Burnside. It's connected to our corporate office there, and you can actually see our program from the highway. So those are our 4 locations. That's where you can find us. And if you know Northwood, we are expanding, and we are always, so you never know where we're going to pop up next. So let's talk a little bit, there we go, about how to get started. And I want to say it's as simple as calling us. I really, really hope it's that simple. So that number right there is our inquiry line, and it will connect you to one of our staff that will then connect you to your preferred location. But there is no referral needed for our adult day program. So although a lot of our referrals do come from continuing care, from the Alzheimer Society of Nova Scotia, from the memory clinic, they could come from anywhere. You do not need a referral. So you can call us at any point, and if you're 3 months out from needing our service, if you need our service tomorrow, you can call us and we'll be able to at least start the process with you. So it's hard to say who really fits an adult day program, because when I think of our clients at each program, they are coming to our program for so many different reasons. But it could be individuals who are maybe alone during the day while family members are maybe working full time, or they're trying to just take care of other responsibilities. It could be folks who need companionship, social stimulation, or for individuals who cannot be home alone safely. So, and the list could go on and on and on. I don't think there is a one fit or a real criteria for our particular adult day programs. I think it's just to call us and see if it's a service that fits the need for you and for your loved one. So then, depending on our availability, we take you through the application process at that point. So we go through an application form where we get a little bit of information from you. We talk about transportation, because that's something that's not provided with the program, but maybe you're going to provide the transportation, or we'll connect you with Accessibus or some of the private businesses that do provide transportation. And then we also do need a final sign-off from your family physician. But before we try to overload you with any, of that paperwork, we do welcome our caregivers, our care partners, and our clients to come in and try out the program. So come for a cup of coffee in the morning, or come for lunch, come for an afternoon, and see if it's the right fit for the client and for the care partner. And I have to say, it's not always successful on the first try, but that's okay. That's okay. We will try again. But it does allow us the staff to see where that client might fit through the week. If there's somebody that might share common interests, or the programs that we offer on Tuesday would just be a really great match, that just allows us to give those suggestions back to the care partners. Or it also might help us with what approach might be the best approach. Maybe it's not successful to come to an adult day program, and maybe we take the approach that it's, a friendship center, or maybe you're coming as a volunteer versus a client. We can get pretty creative when we're working on those approaches. So let's say the trial goes good and you're happy with the service and our client's happy with the service. Then we go ahead and select the sessions that you would like to attend. And from there, we learn about our clients through assessments. So we do nursing assessments and falls risk assessments, and we collect social histories through our getting to know you document. And just a little bit about what sessions are available. We are a service that's open Monday to Friday. We have morning programs and afternoon programs and full day programs, and that is up to what might fit you. We do suggest that our clients come twice a week so that they do get a little bit more comfortable with the environment, and the staff also become more familiar. So once you get started, that's when care plans, our individualized care plans, are developed by our team, and they're really individualized to the client's likes, their dislikes, their personal routines, and also what might be their specific needs, whether it's through activity modifications that they might need, or assistance with diet restrictions, or maybe a little bit of extra support in the bathroom. Whatever they need, we make sure that it's individualized on their care plan. So that's how you get started. And a little bit about the team that you're going to meet. So our qualified team of staff consists of healthcare professionals with the following backgrounds. So we have 4 locations. At those locations, we have an LPN. We have an RN on our team as well. We have therapeutic recreation programmers, continuing care assistants, and then myself. And I come with a background from recreation therapy as a certified recreation therapist. All right, and a little bit about what does a day look like. And like I said, our days do look very, very different. So our team tries their best to map out a monthly plan. So we have October all planned out, all of our special events that we're going to do. But really the day is planned the morning of. So we get together as a team. We look at who's coming for that particular day and what are they going to enjoy? What are they going to benefit from? We try to offer small group, we try to offer large group, or we also offer a lot of individualized program to meet the specific client's needs. We offer a snack if you come for the morning, so a tea, a coffee, and a lovely snack. And then at lunch, of course, we do offer a full lunch that we try to make as best a dining experience if we can. For our environment, we try to offer a home-like environment. We try to make it as natural as possible. We try to be very, very flexible with our programming so we can change it. If things aren't going right, then we are able to change it, and our team does a great job of that. And that also means that we are very adaptable as well. I have to say, one of the most frequently asked questions, though, is what are our most popular programs? Lunch, that seems to be very, very popular. Music, for sure, and the various physical activities that we offer. So we have a pretty solid bocce ball team. Bowling is, of course, a favorite, and then the Sackville program has recently picked up axe throwing, which has passed along to our Halifax program, so that's going on really well. But again, every day is going to look different, and that's okay with us, and that's why we have that team of CCAs and therapeutic recreation to make these days as successful as possible. Oh, I'm doing pretty good for time. Okay, so what we hope for goals for both our client and our care partners. So we hope that for our clients, they continue to live well at home. That's so important for us. We try to support them in any ways to still continue to be at home and then come to our program during the day. We hope that there's improved sleep 5 days a week at our program, 9 to 3. We hope that you're sleeping well. We hope that there's reducing feelings of social isolation, anxiety, and depression. And then, of course, we want people to have fun. We want them to enjoy themselves. We want them to say at the end of the day, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow. I can't wait for tomorrow, and look forward to the next day with us. For our care partners, we do hope that it offers a little bit of respite during the day. We hope that we're reducing any possible stress that might come about. We truly try to act like community partners. So if there's no referral needed and you have not connected with Continuing Care yet, or community OTs, or all of the great community organizations that are out there, we will try our best with our knowledge of community partners to connect you to those individuals. And we hope that it offers a balance of care. Somebody said it today when they popped by, that you can't be a caregiver 24/7. And that's what we hope. We hope that we can take some of that off if for that 6 hours a day that we are caring for your loved one. So those are our goals. We do have partners and supports, but there is a cost to our program. I wish we could be free and we could have not a capacity of 15 clients at every site. I wish we could just have this whole room. This would be great. This room would be fantastic. But the Department of Health and Wellness is one of our supporters, and they have 2 support programs that can be used for our adult day services. So one is the caregiver's benefit, and then the other one is the supportive care. But we have tried to keep the cost of our program to a minimum. I don't believe we've increased our prices in a very, very long time. So for our morning program, the cost is $13. For our afternoon program, it's $18. And then for our full day program, it's $26. And we have a lovely foundation that likes to help us too. They're in the room, so I can say that. I just want to take the last minute before she puts up the minute sign to share some words from our care partners, because I think that this does such a beautiful way of just saying why we do what we do and what we do, and just the love from this care partner that we have at one of our programs. I think she does it better than me, so I'm gonna just read some of her words. So she is a care partner that her husband comes to our program in Sackville. Her letter that she wrote here is for the Northwood Foundation. We've recently published it in our Live More newspaper, so just know that that was the audience for the letter. So Gerald is a participant in the Adult Day programs at Northwood and Sackville. The Northwood Foundation is grateful for Judy, as am I, for sharing her Alzheimer's journey with us to help others who may also be struggling with the life changes that dementia can bring to families. With their children almost finished school, Judy and Gerald were looking forward to making new memories to last a lifetime. More dancing, dining, and spending time with friends until their lives changed forever. I lost my dancing partner and the love of my life when Gerald was diagnosed with early onset dementia. I knew long before his diagnosis that something was off. Gerald could no longer connect his ideas to actions, to make things happen, or to take part in social outings with friends. I did everything I could to care for Gerald on my own. After all, I vowed that we would grow old together in sickness and in health. I have now come to understand that dementia took much more than my husband from me. It is hard when your longtime friends stop popping in to visit to share a tea or a beer. They said they had stopped visiting because they didn't know what to say. They didn't know what to talk about. Gerald could no longer carry on a conversation with anyone. He stopped talking with me too. We both felt lost in our marriage, and I was living with a stranger. I have come to hate this dreaded disease, a memory monster and a love larcenist. It may have taken us away all that we could be together, but I refuse to let it take me away. This past February, I got a call from the Northwood Adult Day program in Sackville to tell me they were opening their programs to the community. There was an opening for Gerald. I happily accepted this spot, but also immediately felt an immense guilt that I was giving up my responsibility of care to someone else. It felt like I had failed my husband. But when you love someone, that means you would give up the world for them. I did, but I couldn't do it anymore. I needed more for me. It was time to register him. Northwood's Adult Day programs are designed to help adults maintain their level of functioning, provide opportunities for socialization, and promote physical and mental health in a secure environment. The program offers personal care to help build on and maintain life skills and respite for families and caregivers. Activities may include armchair exercises, a baking program, arts and crafts, music, gardening, and games. Judy loves to share that donations made to the Northwood Foundation support Adult Day programs, making them more accessible for those who need them most. I wasn't sure if Gerald would attend the program, but the staff were so kind and amazing with him. He now attends the Adult Day program 4 days a week. He is laughing, painting, making button crafts, playing cards, answering trivia questions, and even cracking jokes. And at his latest visit to his neurologist, I couldn't believe he passed his cognitive testing for the first time since his diagnosis. The best part about the team at Northwood's Adult Day is that they care about me too. They ask me how I'm doing and if I need anything. I now have a team of professionals that understand not only Gerald's Alzheimer's journey, but they worry about the journey I am on as his caregiver. The team makes a difference because they listen with their hearts. I no longer feel guilty when I drop Gerald off for the day because I know he is safe and cared for, and he is enjoying every moment. I am now able to spend time with friends, get groceries without worrying, and I have even registered for painting classes. We are both painting again. Donations to the Northwood Foundation have helped us both. They have given me the chance to find a new purpose in my days. The staff share information about workshops, education sessions in our area that have helped me too. I no longer feel lost. Northwood helped me find me again. You never know when your generosity will help support someone you love through Northwood's many programs, like Adult Day did for me and Gerald. You may not think that you will ever need special programs to help you through difficult days that may lie ahead. I never thought I would. From Judy. I went over time, so I'm going to finish it there. But I think she just did such an excellent job at summarizing why we do what we do. And I can read that now without crying, but I couldn't in the beginning. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah. I wondered if your voice was shaking a little bit, but obviously you weren't. So what a testimonial. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. And you said often throughout your comments about the person-centered approach of the Adult Day program, and that became very obvious. People could come as volunteers, as clients, different activities, and the benefits for people with dementia and their care partners. So if axe throwing is anything that anybody wants to take up, apparently the Adult Day program at Northwood has got it. Hot tip. Okay. Our next speaker will be joining us virtually, Dr. Beverly Cassidy. Hi there. Dr. Cassidy is a geriatric psychiatrist and assistant professor with Dalhousie University Department of Psychiatry. Her academic interests include the neurobiology of brain health, treatment of mood, anxiety, and cognitive disorders, and mental health advocacy. She is the founder of Memory Cafe Nova Scotia, a provincial strategy to enrich social experiences and build inclusion for persons living with dementia and their families. So I leave it to you, Dr. Cassidy.
Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir. I'm Beverly Cassidy, and I help coordinate Memory Cafe Nova Scotia, a provincial project to improve well-being and social connection for persons living with dementia, their families, and care partners. I'm very happy to be here this evening to share this project and to give you a taste of what it would be like if you chose to attend a Memory Cafe. The first Memory Cafe started about 22 years ago in Holland by Dr. Beer Meesen, and he said, "Come out of the woodwork. You are part of society, and we want you to take your part in it. You didn't ask to get it. It could happen to anyone. Don't hide away." And I think more than 20 years later, these words of inclusion still bear perfect relevance today. We started Memory Cafe Nova Scotia in 2019 and are so grateful for the incredible support of our municipal leaders, funding agencies, businesses, artists and musicians, and healthcare partners, including the Alzheimer Society of Nova Scotia. So what happens at Memory Cafes? Memory Cafes are free and held monthly, virtually and in person, in communities through winter and spring. This winter, they're going to be held in the Wolfville-Kentville area and regions of Cape Breton, Clare, Argyll-Yarmouth, and Lunenburg. In addition to coffee, tea, and treats, each cafe features artwork to launch non-memory-based conversation, and that's followed with live music or interactive art. So this is the front page of the website, which is available in both French and English. We have free resources on this website for anyone who is hosting a memory cafe, including interactive painting and clay modeling videos, downloadable artwork, chair yoga, and musical performances recorded especially for memory cafe guests. We hope that the website will make it really easy for someone to start a memory cafe in their community. This is a sample series where you can see some of the themes that we explore. Transitions, a focus on imagination rather than memory, building friendships, and creating something new together. So let's imagine for a minute that we are at a memory cafe right now. Once you've got your warm drink and settled in, the group might be invited to take a look at this painting by Holly Carr and decide which boat might you rather be in. The more serene boat on the right with the mermaid and the fiddler, or the adventurous whale-watching trip on the left. There's usually a lot of laughs at memory cafes, and everyone's voice is welcomed. Then you might decide to paint yourself. What would you put in your boat? This is a group painting from the Annapolis Valley Memory Cafe led by Holly, and this is what everyone kind of put together in the SS Memory Cafe. Or you might like to try your hand at clay making, trying something new with our Memory Cafe sculptor and art guide, Elizabeth Sercom. Here are some adorable seals that were made by our Memory Cafe participants in Meteghan and in Sydney, Cape Breton this past spring. Or maybe you just want to kick back and enjoy some tunes from Memory Cafe musicians. Music features a lot in memory cafes because it's a language that can bridge so many barriers. Also, musical memory is stored in many deep areas of the cortex and can be enjoyed even when verbal language or episodic memory skills are impaired. So it's really a big part of memory cafes. So what do our participants say? Well, so far, 100% of our respondents have reported that Memory Cafe participation improved their sense of well-being, and 92% noted improved social connectedness. This year, upcoming, we're also evaluating the impact of Memory Cafe participation on our volunteers. This is led by one of the psychiatry residents, Dr. Alex Wynat, looking at changes in understanding and appreciation of the challenges of living with dementia. Here's some more of what participants had to say. I felt like I was on a date with my wife. I loved the fiddle music and the dancing. It was nice to meet some other family members and caregivers. I didn't feel so alone. It didn't matter that I couldn't remember much. We had fun with the clay. So to register, these are some of the emails, addresses for registration in various parts of the province. All of these are available on the website at memorycafens.ca. And now, because sometimes an experience is worth 1,000 words, I thought for the next 4 minutes or so, I'd ask you just to sit back and relax. If you're at home, maybe you can grab a cup of tea and just listen to Rose Morrison sing. She's going to be performing at the Cape Breton Memory Cafe this December, so I hope the volume and sound comes out well for you.
All that I have, I want to give. Let her love grow. Let her love grow. And all of our dreams, I want to live. So let her love grow. Let her love grow. I remember when you took my hand, we walked out to the glen.
That's my cue. Thank you very, very much, Dr. Cassidy, for offering us the opportunity to just sit and listen to that song for a minute. It felt great, actually. And also, thank you for sharing the ways in which, by engaging with memory cafes and communities across Nova Scotia, people can engage with the arts. She talked about all different forms of art to improve a sense of well-being and social connectedness. So that's really what we're here talking about tonight. So thank you for that very much. So our next speaker, our final speaker, is Anne McQuarrie. Anne is a retired school teacher. She began her studies at the Nova Scotia Teachers College and moved on to a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology and then completed a Master's in Education from St. Mary's University. Anne's career focus was special education as a mentor and advocate with a wide range of ages. She has served on many committees during her career and is a published author. Anne was a committed volunteer throughout her life. She volunteered with long-term care and with pastoral care within her church and community. Anne's passions include politics, history, reading, Bible studies, current affairs, and writing. So we'll watch a pre-recorded video with Anne, and she is kindly here also with us tonight to answer some live questions after.
Hi, I'm Anne McQuarrie. I'm a Christian, I'm a teacher, and I have a rare sense of humor. In 2014, I was diagnosed with a dementia, and I just want to speak to how being involved with other people, how I still can teach, and how I can still be the person I am.
Wonderful. And so, Anne, with Community Night, it's navigating dementia, engaging with your community. How, Anne, do you continue to engage with your community?
Well, in church, it's mostly getting to know people. I'm an encourager. I can pray for people at home. I can still call people. I can still be a useful part of the church congregation. Teaching is who I am. I can't stop. So if I have a place that I can share my knowledge, I do it. And most of the time, my friends and the people I know, after they get over the initial shock that I actually have a dementia, are more than willing to share and want to know as much as they can about it. My humor gets me in trouble sometimes, especially when I say I'm a Christian and I come out with something off the wall that really doesn't sound too Christian-like. But the purpose of it is to get feedback from that person. I said, if I can make someone laugh, then I feel fulfilled. I think it's brought a little 2 seconds of joy to them, but it's so fulfilling for me as a person to know that they actually want me to stop and say hi.
So, as you said, Anne, the teaching is sort of the essence of who you are. And recently, in your building with your friends,
Yes.
you had an education session.
I did. A couple of people were after me to speak about the difference between your memory loss in normal aging and what it is like with the dementia. For me, the blessing is I don't have Alzheimer's, which means I can talk as much as I want and drive everybody crazy, but it makes it much easier for me. I find that most people are at the age where, in the community in which I live, that they could be just getting a loss of memory from they're aging, or it could be dementia. So last week I did maybe a half-hour session, and I did it on as if the person had doubts about whether they were or weren't, and a little checklist of things that they should think about as they apply to them before they were going to the doctor for a diagnosis. It was very well received. Um, I've had several people come up to me that weren't at the session asking me if I had a copy of the list. So I enjoy doing it. It gives me not only the helping part to someone else, but it makes me feel like me. I feel like I'm the person I always was, and the dementia, yes, it's a part of me, but that's all it is. My personality is as crazy as it ever was. My humor is as crazy as it ever was. And I always have a heart out to encourage and to help people. So,
And your friends.
my friends, they're so used to me. One thing I've learned is when you get in this position and you're having a conversation, and all of a sudden you can't remember the word, and they know me now, so I'll just say, go ahead, fill it in. Why waste time trying to figure out what you can't remember, you know? Just let somebody else. It also shows if they were really listening to what you were saying. So I catch them sometimes, yeah. But anyway, on this journey, I've been truly blessed. I've gone to the group things from the Alzheimer's um, Society. Without their help, um, this journey would have, I can't imagine what it would have been like without their encouragement and about the activities that that I was able to engage in as I'm going through this journey, like artful afternoon. I didn't know I could be creative except with writing. I do writing, that's an individual thing, but I found that going to artful afternoon and being with others who were also on this journey, I found out things that I didn't know about myself and that I could develop. And it was so good to be in a group with others, although maybe in a different highway, we're all on the same journey. So that was one of the highlights, also shaping the journey, being with others that are just starting this journey, and also being with their caregivers or a friend. And it was so good to have that time together with caregivers and with others with a dementia or Alzheimer's. And Alzheimer's tends to be still the most diagnosed. And so mine was a little different. So that was a good lesson for everybody that dementias are different. They're in an umbrella. They're not all the same, and they're not end-stage Alzheimer's or Lewy body dementia where people are having hallucinations. When I was diagnosed, when I had the results of my test done, when I came out of that room, I was still me. People tend to, without the knowledge and the education about Alzheimer's and dementia, they come out like, oh, that's the end of my life. You know, I'm going to be raving or I'm going to be hitting somebody. Those things may or may not happen, depending on which part of the umbrella you're under. But the good thing is, you can always find someone or something through the Alzheimer's Society that helps you and gets you on track and gives you all the information possible to make this journey as it is.
If there's one thing, Anne, that you would like to say to people, the benefit of engaging with your community. What benefit, what does that give to you, staying connected with your community?
It makes me feel a part of things, makes me feel whole, that the diagnosis doesn't obliterate my personality. I'm still me. And I think being with others reinforces that, makes me feel whole, makes me feel valid, useful, and I'm able to contribute in a small way to something.
Thank you very much, Anne. Thank you for sharing with a sense of humor, most definitely, the benefits of staying engaged with your community long after a diagnosis of a form of dementia. You talked about the benefits of helping someone else, certainly, but also how staying engaged with your community makes me feel like me and makes me feel whole. And those are words that I will take. Thank you very much. So thank you to Jennifer and Sarah and Beverly and Anne. You've all given us much to think about. And now we have some time for a question and answer period. Dom.
Dominic Boyd, hi. I'd like to thank the panel, and I'm really, really glad to hear the term care partner being used. I think it's tremendous and so respectful to use that term. My question revolves around the dementia-friendly project. And basically, I'm wondering, you talked about education being a big piece of this. Have you got some sort of concrete goals around that? How is this really going to unfold throughout our country, being so big? How are you actually going about the dementia-friendly communities thing in a more concrete way?
So, excellent question. And Beth is going to come back up in just a moment and share an answer to that question. Or it's a big question, so she may not have all the answers, but she'll definitely share something. So we'll take that off of our panelists' plate for now, unless you have a burning response. And Beth will have more to say about that in a minute. Thanks, Tom.
I have a question from the virtual audience. This is for Jennifer. I was recently diagnosed with dementia, and although I would like to join activities, it causes me anxiety. What can I do, or what would be the first step?
Thanks for your question. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? I feel like I should just let Anne answer this, but I'll give it give a try. So I think, depending on how recently you were diagnosed, time will definitely be your best friend through this as you work through it would be normal to be anxious and apprehensive with new information that so directly impacts your future. I would say stay connected if you have a primary care provider. Stay in touch with them because they'll know what to expect with respect to any mood changes that might go along with dementia, because mood is impacted by the brain as well, so that's something to keep in mind. I think about what your resources are for support. Maybe you, if anxiety is preventing you from accessing something new, think of something, maybe someone you could go with, or someone that makes you feel safe and comfortable, and kind of pair that with something new until the new thing feels not so new. That's just a thought.
Thank you, Jen. So I see Chelsea's coming up to the mic.
I have a question from virtual. This one's for Anne. What did you enjoy the most about Artful Afternoon?
Did you hear the question?
Yep.
Okay.
I think the most I got from Artful Information was to be with others and to try things without there being a right or a wrong. And I developed a really, I learned a lot in terms of my understanding what art was. I had this thing in my head that art was either music or Picasso or all of these things. And it was so good to learn and to be with others that are on this journey. But it was so good to try things and know that I could do things that I'd never tried before. And the fellowship, everyone that was in my group was either a friend, my best friend went with me, I don't have family around, and go on not having to explain yourself, okay? Does that help? Thank you.
You got a thumbs up on that one. Thank you, Anne. Are there any other questions?
One more virtual.
Oh, one more. They're coming in from the virtual land.
Yeah, this one's for Sarah. How can I support my family member to feel comfortable about joining the day program?
For me, I know. I think that's a good question. I think that a lot of folks feel what Judy described. They feel guilt. They feel like they're giving the responsibility to us. And what we try to do as staff is, help them through that. I mean, we're just as much providing a service for our clients as we are for our care partners. And we know that, and we try to do it to the best of our ability. We offer people to stay if they'd like, our care partners. Stay for that cup of coffee or stay until you feel comfortable leaving your loved one with our staff. And we also just try to make sure that everyone has that. It's an open door. They can come in at any point during the day. If they come early, if they want to come in the middle of the day, if they want to spend the entire session, they're more than welcome. And we try to make sure that they meet and develop a relationship with each and every staff. So that makes them feel a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, I think that's it, hopefully.
Thank you, Sarah. Chelsea, you got another one?
Yes, one more from the virtual group. This one's for Beverly. I would like to start a memory cafe in my community. What do I do to begin?
Is Beverly still there? Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe. Oh, there's. Is
Hi.
that you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep. Did you hear the question?
Yes, I was just trying to unmute myself there.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think the first thing to do would just be to reach out to one of us, info@memorycafens.ca, and we can get back to you and show you the resources that are already on the website that are all free and usable for any small community to start a memory cafe. I think the key ingredients really are to have a setting. We really like to do it in functioning cafes so that the persons attending the memory cafe are interacting and in the same space as the functioning cafe, so that, the comment that it feels more like a date than any kind of a clinical experience. It's just, it's a fun time to be in a regular community space. So having a cafe that's appropriate for that, where people could get their walker in the door, just having a kind of green light cafe owner, somebody who's happy to host a memory cafe. That's really wonderful to have. And also then a facilitator, just someone in the community who has some experience of working with people who have memory challenges and who's happy to be there. You know, one of the great things, our natural resources in Nova Scotia has to be great little cafes, right? And also musicians and artists are natural resources in Nova Scotia. So we're hoping that most small communities would have those kinds of things available, and any resources or support we can give you either from the website or personal support to get things up and running. We're more than happy to be there.
Thank you very much for that response. And I think we've got time for one more question, and it looks like there's someone there to ask one.
Yeah, perfect. This is a question for Sarah. So I am the president of the Dalhousie Health Promotion Society, and we have a whole group of us here for that. And I'm just wondering, how could it be possible to go about volunteering or getting involved with helping out with day programs, or just learning more about, like, I know we have a number of students that are interested in gerontology and getting involved in that, and it'd be nice to get that experience while we're still in our university programs.
Yeah, for sure. So we are just looking at that right now, really connecting with communities, community partners, and that's one thing, is schools and just getting volunteers on board. I just started this position back in October and was given the task to open 4 programs by March and was successful there. So now that they're all up and running, that this is our next step. So maybe we can connect afterwards and I can give you my information, and we'll take all of you as volunteers.
Perfect. Thank you so
Every day.
much.
Yes, yeah.
So thank you for that. I think that wraps up.
One more quick one, please.
A quick one, because we're about to answer the dementia-friendly communities
Thank you.
one too.
My question is how to make it okay to talk about the dementia, overcome that awkwardness, and do so in an assertive but friendly manner. Because I think that's so important, that people who are dealing with dementia themselves feel okay about talking about it and bringing it up and saying, hey, I'm still me. So do you have any kind of concrete little tips around that?
And is that directed to anybody in particular, Don, or maybe anybody from the panel feel?
I think Anne probably has something to say about it, but others might too.
How do you overcome having conversations that might be awkward with people, with persons living with dementia? How do you start the conversation to say that I'm still me? I wanna still talk and be a part of the conversation. Is it okay for somebody to come up and say? Okay. How do you start the conversation was the question.
What were you give me one question.
How do you start a conversation about dementia with somebody living with dementia?
The
Does
same
that do
way.
a good job? Yeah, okay.
I also lost hearing in this ear, so I need teamwork. I think the best way is just ask the question, and if somebody wants to know, most of the time I have more trouble convincing people, because I have language, that I have dementia. Because with Alzheimer's, language and ability to do things, it can be rapid or slow, but I would not be able to have this conversation. I was diagnosed in 2014, and I'm still going strong.
Thank you, Anne. So ask the questions. Thank you, Anne. Yes, it's a start.
We started the conversation.
I feel I have to jump in here
start.
too, Anne.
Okay, but after that, Jen.
Go for it. I think that the best that you can do is ask someone with dementia what they want from you and really start to kind of put them at the center of what they may need. I'd like to put people in a place of being empowered.
So, so ask the person with dementia what they need and put them at the center of the conversation, and so that you heard that for sure. So thank you very much to our panelists, both here and virtually as well. Our most sincere thanks to all of you, and we have a small token of our appreciation that is up there in front of you right now, so thank you very much for your time. And now we welcome back to the stage Beth House to tell us more about dementia-friendly communities. So we'll see if that responds to your question, Dom.
Yes, so hopefully I will be able to answer Dom's question. So thank you very much for that segue. So we have said that dementia-friendly communities support, respect, and include people living with dementia and their partners in care in the places they live, work, and play. It's a community that enables contribution, opportunity, and choice. And so we heard from our panelists today some of the ways. And we also heard Jennifer say, well, it's a work in progress. And it really is a work in progress. We're not there yet. But we will get there. And that's one of the things we want to do. But why is becoming dementia-friendly important? When organizations, businesses, the community in general become dementia-friendly, it ensures that people can age in place and remain active members of their community. Dementia-friendly principles, both social and physical, are not just dementia-friendly, but will make spaces more inclusive for all members of the community, as well as people living with dementia. And that they will show that people affected by dementia are valued and integral parts to building the dementia-friendly society. It's our social responsibility to support all members of the community. So given Nova Scotia's emphasis on enabling older adults to live at home for as long as is appropriate, it's essential to ensure that communities have the tools to support this goal. Specifically, older adults with dementia should be supported in the places where they live, where they're comfortable and familiar, and in the services and the organizations in which they and their care partners interact. These initiatives will contribute to their ability to live with dignity and respect in their various communities. So the Alzheimer's Society of Nova Scotia asked the Nova Scotia Centre on Aging to help us better understand how the resources being developed by the Dementia Friendly Canada project can be used to advance dementia-friendly communities' work here in Nova Scotia, and to identify other considerations that would work generally in Nova Scotia. So what's the difference between Dementia Friendly Canada and Dementia Friendly Communities? So the Dementia Friendly Canada project concentrates on building general awareness and developing resources like the video we saw, the commercials that you may have seen in the introductory slides, and sector-specific education. Dementia-friendly communities, the initiatives that are happening in the provinces on the provincial and local levels look different province to province. They tend to focus on growing relationships with specific groups or organizations, municipalities, in order to encourage and help them become dementia-friendly. So here at the Alzheimer's Society of Nova Scotia, we are committed to advancing the work to foster dementia-friendly communities in Nova Scotia, communities that are more inclusive and more supportive of people living with dementia and their care partners. Fundamental to this work is addressing the stigma associated with the dementia diagnosis, creating an understanding of how the physical and social environments play a key role in people being able to stay connected to all of the wonderful programs and activities that are happening in their communities and their socials and their community life, and engage in their regular activities of daily living. We are committed to building a rollout tailored to Nova Scotia, focusing on key audiences across the province. So some of the tools and resources that were developed from the the national project. They have online modules for the recreation and library sectors, the restaurant and retail, along with customer service, the general public, and public transportation. The modules give an overview of dementia, the social and physical considerations, and examples of ways to adapt policies, practices, and services for businesses to be more dementia-friendly. They've developed some tip sheets, all of which are available at the dementia-friendly community booth. How to be a dementia friend, tips for dementia-friendly interactions with and without a mask, dementia-friendly language guidelines, tips for dementia-friendly spaces, and tips for dementia-friendly written materials. You can take some home and share them with your friends, your community partners, your businesses that you frequent. And if you didn't get them, or if you're joining us virtually, you can print them off on the website, which is alzheimer.ca/Dementia Friendly Canada. There have been national awards that I'll speak to in just a second to recognize dementia-friendly work, whether it is a part of the Dementia Friendly Canada initiatives or not. We know there are great things happening all over the place. And in Nova Scotia, one of the tools we already have is our companion and patience cards, which is available at the Alzheimer's Society booth. And they subtly say that there's a memory impairment and a few extra moments may be required. So where do we start? At developing an implementation plan. It's a big undertaking. So the report from the Center on Aging is a fantastic start. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes. We're setting the stage, we're narrowing down our first key audiences that we want to roll this out with. Maybe it's recreation centers or libraries, maybe it's the restaurant or retail. We can't reach everyone right away. We need to start small. We will develop our own promotional materials, such as our lovely brand new one-page designed by Leslie, our very own Nova Scotia, and it's on your table, so it's our very first Nova Scotia promotional bit that is just for us. So we'll make them Nova Scotia, and we'll develop a communication strategy so that we have information on social media and things for you to share. Well, we want to create an advisory group, including people living with a diagnosis of dementia, their care partners, and other interested stakeholders, to help guide our journey on this dementia-friendly initiative. We'll create a recognition program so that, for example, businesses can show that they are dementia-friendly, that they've had some training or education or gone through a process to be labeled dementia-friendly. So what can you do right now? So there's social and physical characteristics of dementia-friendly communities, which when implemented can help support people living with dementia by reducing the anxiety that might come from getting back out into their community, reducing the stigma and the frustration. I had a bunch of examples, but I'm gonna cut it short because I know we're running over time. But all of these things are possible when community members are educated about dementia and know that a person living with dementia may sometimes experience the world differently. So in short, you can learn about dementia. Give us a call, check out our website, check out our YouTube channel. You can raise awareness by talking about it. And so as Anne and Jennifer said, talk about it. That is one of the best ways to reduce the stigma, by just talking about it. Involve people living with dementia. If you want to start something in your community, give us a call. Talk to people living with dementia. Start a memory cafe is one wonderful way. So part of creating a dementia-friendly community that is welcoming, inclusive, and supportive is considering the physical environment. And one of those is the tip sheets. One of the tip sheets we have for you covers that information. But the considerations go beyond some of the usual accessibility requirements for physical disabilities. They consider cognitive changes as well. Small changes in a physical space can make a big difference in making the environment feel safe to someone living with dementia. A welcoming environment, both indoors and outdoors, can help a person living with dementia continue to access offices, stores, businesses. There are many best practices you can consider, and most are relatively low cost and can benefit everyone, including people living with dementia. So the built environment, and I'm going to go through these really quickly because then I'm going to ask you what you saw here today that might have been or maybe wasn't dementia friendly tonight. So signage, clear signage for finding your way around should have a high contrast between text. So white on black, black on white, dark on light. Entrances and lighting should be well lit, wheelchair accessible entrances and walking routes. The flooring, a shiny floor or a very busy floor may look wet. It may look like it has holes that you need to step around or step over. Pathways should be wide and free of clutter, avoiding dark mats, patterned flooring and carpet. Seating, so use recognizable seating, not abstract. So if you're going to put a bench somewhere, don't make it look like a book, even if it's outside the library. Make it look like a bench so it's easily recognizable. Even though those are beautiful, lovely abstract benches, they're not a familiar object. Waiting areas, relaxing music in a waiting room or practice and treatment rooms at a low volume may help calm the person living with dementia. But you also don't want something too loud that they can't hear you speaking. Getting ahead of myself. Washrooms. Well-marked family unisex washrooms, or like we did tonight, all gender washrooms, will allow someone to be assisted without causing embarrassment to them or another user. If you're assisting someone who is not the same gender as you are. Background noises can be difficult for a person living with dementia, just as it is for people living with hearing aids, to filter out all of the noise of conversations and music and things happening. So making that background noise less disturbing or less interruptive. TVs, radios, other conversations, those kinds of things. We won't talk too much about services. So what did you notice tonight? You can just sort of shout it out, and if nobody wants to shout things out, I've mentioned a couple. Great signage, thank you very much. Yes, so we had signage. We had people also pointing you in the right direction in case you were looking for something or you got turned around. Anything else? You can just yell it out. Bad carpet. Not dementia-friendly carpet. Not everyone knows about dementia-friendly considerations when they're designing things. And this is lovely if you're going to spill coffee on the floor. You will not see the spills or the red wine from the weddings that happen, but it is very disconcerting for someone who may have changes in their vision. You may have noticed that the Alzheimer Society staff have lovely new name tags with our big names on them. Our other ones are quite small. And they're in a good place to see. They're not hanging on a lanyard around our belts so that you feel like you're not looking in an appropriate place. We also had our Artful Afternoon exhibit, which was our quiet space. So if someone was feeling overwhelmed by all of the wonderful conversations that were happening, they could head to the Artful Afternoon, where it was a beautiful environment and was a much calmer space. So I'm going to quickly share about the awards. So if you have any wonderful stories of things that are already happening, we would love to hear them. The Dementia Friendly Community Awards, the national awards, are open until the end of October. So if you have good stories, send them to me. The Dementia Friendly Voice for someone living with dementia, a diagnosis of dementia. Dementia Friendly Ally is a supporter of someone living with dementia. A grassroots group is that small group who has improved the lives of people affected by dementia in their community. A dementia-friendly municipality sort of speaks for itself, and as well as large or small organizations. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us, and we will be happy to share. There's a fair amount of BC nominees right now, and we'd love to see some more Nova Scotian ones. We have some in mind, but we'd love to see more. We know there are wonderful things happening out there. So what can you do? Oop, I went too fast. So our goal is for people living with dementia to be welcomed, included, and supported in their communities. So you as individuals, what can you take home with you tonight? What can you take home wherever you are in the province? Learn about dementia. Develop your skills so you can be supportive, inclusive in your everyday interactions. If you know somebody living with dementia, ask them, what can I do? What would you like to see? How would you like me to interact? And we have lots of tools and tips and tricks. Give us a call. Avoid using dementia and memory-related jokes that can trivialize someone's experience. Reach out to people living with dementia and offer support and to spend time with them or help them engage in an activity that they've always enjoyed. Participate in an Alzheimer's Society learning opportunity, whether it's in person or online, and give us a call and ask. You can also volunteer with us. All right. So, Dom, did I answer your questions? Oh, good. Excellent.